And today we are meeting to plan. Is planning. Is planning. I want to repeat, is planning for emphasis. I would like to say all protocol observed, as said earlier on by the program director, so that we move straight to the point, so that I give the background overview of the project. Today marks a critical milestone in the structured development of Bulawayo as we present the policies and proposals for the ASCOT-PRECINCT Local Plan Number 20. This plan is the product of rigorous technical analysis, stakeholder engagement, and strategic urban planning principles aligned with Bulawayo's master plan and national development goals. Bulawayo has got an operative master plan, which we have at the moment is operative. We've got also a number of local plans that we have. The area falls under local plan number 5, but since it's critical, we have to do a local subject plan so that at least we get what we want. We also currently working on other local plans that we have in the city. A number of local plans are being done. We've got this central area, the northern part of the city, where we want to do regeneration. We're also working on the hillside area, local plan number 12, the southern areas. So there are a number of local plans that we are working on, and we are consulting the stakeholders. As a city, we want to have what we want to call carpet planning. All square meters of the city must be planned so that the city is predictable. Once the city is predictable, we should be able to get investors, because we'll be knowing what we want for the coming 20 or 100 years. We can imagine Bulawayo in the coming years, where will it be? It should be coming from us. We've got an opportunity to plan for the unborn, and those that are not here today, we plan for them, so that at least once the plan is there, it's statutory. We cannot divert from it. We would have to follow it. In March 2024, we convened to present the situational analysis report, which assessed the existing conditions of the ASCOT-PRECINCT, including land use patterns, infrastructure capacity, environmental considerations, and socio-economic dynamics. The findings from this study have directly informed the policies and proposals being shared today. Those that were there, we presented the report of study where the issues were raised, some challenges, and then now we are coming here to present what could be the solutions, which we also got from yourselves. The Town Planning Department, in collaboration with other council departments, has translated the study findings into policies and proposals which we will present today. Next steps: public participation and finalization, stakeholder feedback, integration. Your inputs today will refine the draft plan before exhibition. Public exhibition will be 2 months, because these are the statutory requirements, so that at least you say it or you remain silent for the rest of the life. The plan will be made available for public review and comment to ensure inclusivity. We still have got time also to come in and shape the plan to the direction that we want. Thereafter, we have council approval and gazetting. Post-exhibition, the plan will be submitted to council for approval and forwarded for government gazetting, so that we gazette the plan. The operationalization target is December 2025. We expect that by December 2025, the plan will be gazetted and will be operative. Why this plan is critical? Ensure orderly, sustainable growth in line with government vision. Presents haphazard development and land disputes, fostering investor confidence. Aligns with national policies, including Zimbabwe National Human Settlement Policy 2020 and Vision 2030. Call to action. I urge all stakeholders, residents, investors, developers to actively participate in the upcoming public exhibition. Your contribution will ensure this plan reflects the reflective vision for a modern, prosperous Bulawayo. The plan is not just a technical document, it is a legacy project for future generations. Let us work together to make it a success. The plan was started by the department on its own, that let's make the plan. After that, it was presented to other departments, interdepartmental. Then now the team keeps on growing on the plan. After that, heads work, it was presented to management. Then the management joined the team. We are together presenting it today together. After that, it was presented to councillors who are here now, members of the team, and also presenting to yourself. And today we are presenting to yourselves, the stakeholders. From today, you are members of that team is getting bigger. We'll be explaining this to the world in general. I thank you.
Mabuyan. Good morning, Bulawayo. I think sengikhuluma language yaziwa ngumuntu wonke. Ngiyabonga events director. I am Councillor Kendlovu from Ward 10, currently representing the office of the mayor of Bulawayo. Ngizalibalela isipitch sakhe. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable J. Ncube, in absentia. Honorable Councillors of the State of Bulawayo here present. The Permanent Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mr. Pinyoni, in absentia. The Acting Town Clerk and the heads of departments. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and a warm welcome to this important gathering as we present the policies and proposals for the ASCOT-PRECINCT Local Plan Number 20. Today marks a significant milestone in our shared vision for Bulawayo's sustainable growth, urban renewal and economic revitalization. The ASCOT-PRECINCT is not just a geographical area, it is a vital part of our city's heritage, a hub of opportunity and a canvas for transformative development. As the mayor of this great city, I'm proud to stand before you as we unveil a plan that reflects innovation, inclusivity, and forward-thinking urban design. This local plan is the product of the extensive consultation, rigorous analysis, and a deep commitment to ensuring that Bulawayo remains a livable, dynamic, and prosperous city for the generations to come. Why this plan matters? The ASCOT-PRECINCT Local Plan Number 20 is more than just a policy document. It is a blueprint for progress. It addresses sustainable land use that balances residential, commercial, and recreational needs. Infrastructure modernization to support economic activity and improve connectivity. Environmental stewardship, ensuring green spaces and sustainable practices are integrated into development. Community empowerment, creating opportunities for local businesses and residents to thrive. This plan aligns with our broader goals under Bulawayo's 2020 to 2025 strategic development framework, ensuring that growth is equitable, resilient, and aligned with the aspirations of our people. A call for collaboration. While today is about presenting the plan, the real work begins with your engagement. We invite stakeholders, residents, investors, and developers to partner with us in bringing this vision to life. Together we can shape an ASCOT-PRECINCT that is vibrant, functional, and reflective of Bulawayo's unique character. Looking ahead, as we move forward, let us remember that great cities are not built overnight. They are planned with foresight, nurtured with dedication, and sustained by collective effort. I am confident that with this plan, we are laying the foundation for a brighter, more prosperous Bulawayo. In closing, I extend my gratitude to the town clerk, town planning department, and all stakeholders who have contributed to this process. Your expertise and commitment are deeply appreciated. Let us remember this opportunity to build, innovate, and elevate Bulawayo to new heights. Thank you. May you all move forward with unity and purpose. Ngiyabonga.
May I also invite Mr. Strole, the town planner, to please come and make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to stand on the protocols that have been established. I'll go straight to the presentation. The Director has shared the justification of the preparation of this local plan. It is a legal requirement according to the RTCP Act that the local planning authority shall at all times prepare or keep under review the desirability of preparing a local plan for any part of the area for which it is the local planning authority. Also, part of the justification of this plan is that it is a presidential directive. We remember that in 2023, on the 11th of November, His Excellency, the call to action, the call to action, no compromise to service delivery, and part of the dictates of that directive or call to action was that all local authorities must have master plans to guide urban development and ensure sustainable growth. And then also part of the justification of this plan is that it serves as an implementation tool for the Bulawayo's approved 2019 to 2034 master plan. Therefore, translating its broader vision into specific actionable guidelines for the ASCOT precinct. The Director has shared the planning process. I'll just go through it. We started the conception and data collection. We went to the analysis of that data that was collected. We produced a draft report of study which was shared by the Director in March 2025. At this stage, we're at the proposal development stage, and then it's going to move to the approval process, council adoption and approval, or council adoption, public exhibition, then final council approval, and then the official gazetting. Thereafter, the plan will become operative. So, the area that we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is on our map. It is the ASCOT, or what most of us know as the former ASCOT racecourse area, but it also includes the where the ASCOT shopping center is, where also the Holiday Inn and your Arlington, Kenilworth, and the ASCOT Mills residential areas are. So, and then it also incorporates now the 68-hectare former ASCOT racecourse area. It is strategically located in an affluent area of Bulawayo, surrounded by established residential neighborhoods and key urban amenities. Its central position provides significant opportunities to integrate development with the existing urban fabric while enhancing connectivity throughout the city. We have a hierarchy of documents of plans as planners or as town planning. We start with the regional plans, which incorporates 2 or more local authorities. Then we have the master plan, which is for 1 local authority. And then underneath there's the local development plans or local subject plans, then the layout plans, and then the site plans. The components of a local development plan include the report of study and the written statement. The report of study is the situational analysis which at the end then summarizes or provides the key findings of that particular situational analysis. And then the written statement is or are the policies and proposals which hinge or premise on the key findings of the report of study. These components work together to provide evidence base and the actionable framework for the development in the planning area. Like I've said, the report of study, it will include comprehensive research, data collection, needs and opportunities, then the stakeholder engagement. Then the written statement, like I've said, it articulates the local authorities' vision, the objectives and policies for future development, providing the reason behind the land use allocations and development strategies, offers a textual explanation complemented by maps and diagrams, serves as a crucial communication tool for or to all stakeholders, translates the technical planning concepts into clear policies that guide the developers, the residents, officials, and it therefore serves as a legal basis for development control decision. This is the area that I was talking about. I think on the top left corner you see the existing ASCOT area, the Holiday Inn, and your Arlington flats and so forth, and then the 68 hectare as you see on that bare ground. I think in terms of the existing condition assessments, we shared that predominantly in the 68 acre, the buildings, the infrastructure is deteriorating, save for a few. There's some informal recreational use of the area, there's the vacant land which you saw, then the historical structures requiring some preservation assessments. Then the surrounding context includes established residential neighborhood, commercial corridors and institutional facilities that influence the planning approach. So from a planning perspective, what you see in yellow, the local development plan or the master plan zones that area, the 68 hectare, it zones it residential. What you see in brown hashed or yellow, those are the cluster homes that I've spoken about, your ASCOT News, Arlington, and then your Kenilworth Towers. Then what you see in orange is the Holiday Inn Hotel, and what you see in blue is the ASCOT Shopping Center or the filling station. So the aim of this plan is to strategically transform the ASCOT precinct through a comprehensive redevelopment initiative which transitions from its historical function to a diversified portfolio of contemporary and future-oriented land uses, thereby optimizing spatial efficiency and contributing to the city's evolving urban fabric. This ambitious aim recognizes the once-in-a-generation opportunity which is presented by the 68 hectare site to create a landmark development that will enhance Bulawayo's urban landscape for decades or centuries to come. The plan envisions a complete transformation that honors the site's heritage while embracing contemporary urban design principles. We have about 6 development objectives. First objective is to have an integrated precinct design, have a vibrant living environment, also to address the safety of the hospitality infrastructure, to address the traffic flows and transportation issues, to also allow for the proactive design and implementation of efficient and sustainable infrastructure system to avoid the challenges of retrofitting existing infrastructure. And finally, we seek to provide a comprehensive development control policy to guide development in the planning area, ensuring quality and consistency. You would recall, ladies and gentlemen, I think the picture that you see there, you recall when we started our inception meeting at Tower Block, and then our research assistants went to gather data, and these are the pictures that we picked from there. And then the current master plan for the city of Bulawayo has some proposals on the static or the planning area that we talk about today, and it is about 4 key It identifies old ASCOT road as requiring upgrades or configuration alterations to improve the traffic flow and safety in the area. This is a master plan proposal and also local development plan number 5 proposal. It also proposes that land, the master plan land be set aside for both public and private sporting activities addressing community needs for active and passive recreational spaces. It also promotes or calls for increased density in appropriate areas to maximize land use efficiency and support sustainable urban development. Finally, the master plan also calls for mixed-use development precincts which will incorporate residential, civic and commercial land uses, excluding industrial activities through detailed local development plan. Then, like I've said, the local development plan also zones the area residential, and then we go to the key emerging issues that emerged from the situational analysis or the report of study that we provided. In terms of population dynamics, the situational analysis called that planning must consider the possibility of return, migration and economic recovery, which could significantly impact housing demand in the coming years. The plan also spoke of, or the situational analysis spoke of a youthful population which requires planning to prioritize diverse and affordable housing options, preventing future housing shortages and informal settlements. The plan or the situational analysis also spoke of the densification opportunity, where it said the former ASCOT racecourse area presents a prime opportunity for planned densification and mixed-use development that can address housing needs while creating vibrant neighborhoods. The residential component is critical to creating a vibrant 24-hour community within the precinct, supporting other uses while addressing Bulawayo's housing needs. Other emerging issues from transportation, the significant commuting flows highlighted the need for efficient transportation planning to mitigate congestion and reduce travel times through the area. In terms of land use transitions, both the suburbs and Kumalo areas are undergoing a discernible land use transition, shifting from the predominantly residential to a commercial profile, which influences the planning approach in the precinct. We also heard from the situational analysis that stakeholder engagement from the research, from the virtual forms that we sent to our stakeholders revealed a strong community preference for a mixed land development model with emphasis on integrating the recreational land uses. Then it also spoke of the height and bulk regulations. The ASCOT precinct plan must consider appropriate height and bulk regulations to balance development intensity with neighborhood character and infrastructure character. You would recall these are the Arlington and Kenilworth Towers, the Arlington flats, and then the Ascot Mews, and then other key emerging issues from commercial development. The 68-hectare Ascot precinct creates ideal conditions for the development of the City of Kings and Queens shopping mall, which has the potential to drive significant investment in the local economy, to create substantial employment opportunities, to establish a regional retail and entertainment destination, to enhance Bulawayo's commercial profile and competitiveness. I can see one of the stakeholders sitting in front there who argued that currently the city of Bulawayo does not have a mall. We only have what we call the shopping centers. Then, in terms of the commercial development precincts, what are we looking at? We are looking at features which are distinctive to the designs that you see there, the Mall of Africa, the Two Rivers Mall, the Accra Mall. We are going to come back to these. The key emerging issues from tourism, we noted that the city of Bulawayo's two biggest hotels only accommodate round about 400 combined, that is the Holiday Inn and the Rainbow. And we have a challenge in terms of hospitality infrastructure in the city of Bulawayo. Therefore, the plan must address high quality hotel accommodation, a modern conference and meeting facilities, support amenities for business and leisure, and then flexible spaces that can adapt to changing market demands. In terms of sports and recreation, the key emerging issues are that the consolidation of the football pitch and the grandstand area should be done into a cohesive sports precinct, which will enhance accessibility and create a focal for recreational activities that serves the community needs. I've spoken of the grandstand rehabilitation. Then the integration of diverse recreational facilities such as parks, playgrounds and walking trails will enhance the area's livability and promote community well-being through active and passive recreational objectives. Then you know that there exists the cosmopolitan nightclub or social club, which is existing, and I think it's one of the developments that are well maintained within the static area. Then of course there were emerging issues for urban decay, regeneration or remediation. There were also key emerging issues for social facilities. The static area is sufficient of educational provision. We are talking about the schools that are in the surrounding areas and the existing land reserves. The planning area should prioritize, therefore, non-educational land uses to address other community needs. The local subject plan should also explore the feasibility and integration of a state-of-the-art public health facility to address the identified gaps in clinic provision for the growing population. The plan should also, it was highlighted in the situational analysis, incorporate flexible community spaces that can accommodate various social activities, gatherings and services that enhance community cohesion and the quality of life. Then on the traffic and transportation, the plan also noted that it must address existing traffic challenges and provide a comprehensive multimodal transportation system that will accommodate private vehicles, that will accommodate public transportation, that will accommodate safe and accessible pedestrian networks and dedicated cycling infrastructure and service vehicles access for the commercial issues. Then in terms of the public utilities, the situational analysis noted that there is need for the expansion of the water supply system to accommodate the increased density and mixed-use development, including new storage facilities, distribution networks, and conservation measures. On sewer, comprehensive sewer infrastructure upgrades are also needed to handle increased wastewater volumes from higher density development, preventing environmental contamination and system failures. On electricity supply, enhanced electrical infrastructure, including substations and distribution networks, must be developed to support the new development while incorporating the renewable energy sources. And in terms of telecommunications, state-of-the-art telecommunication infrastructure, including fiber optic networks and cellular coverage, will be essential for creating a connected and modern precinct. Proactive planning for utility infrastructure will prevent future bottlenecks and ensure that development can proceed without constraints from inadequate services. And in terms of constraints and opportunities, the ASCOT racecourse is located in an affluent area of Bulawayo, close to established suburbs. This presents an opportunity for high-value developments. Its proximity to key areas offers potential for mixed-use developments that can attract investment. Then the site also represents a large space within the city, offering a chance to revitalize and modernize an underutilized area. Development can contribute to the city's overall urban renewal strategy. Then in terms of mixed-use development, there is a potential to create a vibrant mixed-use precinct, combining residential, commercial and leisure facilities. This aligns with modern urban planning principles and can create a self-sustaining precinct. Then also in terms of challenges, we have, besides the fact that there is existing infrastructure in terms of water, sewer as an opportunity, but the current infrastructure may be inadequate for the envisaged growth and development. Then, when we're coming to the proposals, there were two key spatial development growth options that were presented to us. The first is to maintain the status quo, and then the second spatial growth option is to have comprehensive urban development. The maintaining of the status quo, it presents the existing land uses with minimal interventions and incremental change. The comprehensive growth, it brings in the complete transformation through integrated planning and coordinated development. These options were evaluated against a multiple criteria to determine the most appropriate approach for achieving the plan's objectives. This is the evaluation criteria. We aligned or we evaluated the two growth options against the master plan's goals, against the projected population, against the ease of implementation of the options, against environmental protection and conservation, against promoting densification, then against integrated development. The maintaining the status quo, as most of us would agree, in terms of the goals that we highlighted earlier on, it fared fairly low in terms of the all the four goals that pertain to the planning area, but also all the other master plan goals. And then the comprehensive compact development, it fared fairly high in terms of the aligning with the master plan goals. And in terms of accommodation of the projected population should be catered for in terms of housing needs, in terms of commercial or working or employment nodes. And again, if we maintain the status quo, we agree that there will be few employment nodes in the study area. And again, the comprehensive compact development, as you are going to see, is then going to create some nodes for employment. In terms of ease of implementation, the maintaining the status quo will be fairly easier. It fared fairly higher than the comprehensive compact development because we would literally be doing nothing. And therefore, but in terms of implementing, there's nothing that needs to be implemented. But in terms of implementation of the master plan, it then will fare fairly low as compared to the other option. And then in terms of environmental protection, as you are going to see from our proposals, some will argue that leaving the area as it is, it protects the environment, but we will show how the proposals seek or endeavor to protect and conserve the environment within the planning area. Then in terms of promoting densification, we all agree that the current or the status quo it fares fairly low in terms of promoting densification. Then as you're going to see, the other option fared fairly high. Then in terms of integrated development, again, maintaining the status quo will fare fairly low as compared to comprehensive compact development. Therefore, based on this evaluation, option 2 was selected as the preferred approach for the ASCOT-PRECINCT plan, scoring significantly higher in alignment with master plan goals, population accommodation, densification, and integrated development. While option 1 scored higher on ease of implementation, the substantial benefits of the comprehensive approach outweighs the consideration. And while I'm still here, I want us to recall the remarks by the director that today we are planning. We are planning and planning for today, but also planning for the future. And sustainable development calls that we plan for today, but we also plan for the future. So the current crop or population must not be selfish in terms of planning. We must also think of the generations to come. Then the overview of the development proposals. The proposals are premised on the need to set the area as high value land precinct in the city of Bulawayo to match the standard of those in the region, creating a distinctive urban environment. The other proposal is that it is premised on the fact that there should be design excellence. This area should be Bulawayo's pride in terms of design, form and function to accommodate residential, commercial, institutional and recreational uses at the highest standard. Then in terms of the zoning framework, the planning area is proposed to be divided into 6 distinct zones as we are going to share. Zone 1 being residential, Zone 2 being business, shops and offices, Zone 3 being business, office park, then Zone 4, the institutional and the recreational zone and other land reservations. Then it is also premised on the fact that all rooftops to be covered in solar panels to promote renewable energy use and reduce the dependence on the grid, demonstrating environmental leadership. So in Zone 1, the area, like I've said, is divided into these zones. The first zone that we have subdivided or divided the area into is the residential, that is the cluster homes. You would recall that the area currently has cluster homes. We speak of the Phoenix lifestyle apartments, we speak of the Arlington, Kenilworth, and the Ascot Mills. We therefore propose that there be a contemporary residential development towards cluster to balance or to match the existing cluster homes that are there. So cluster homes will make the surrounding form of the Kenilworth, Arlington, Ascot Mills, and the 1950s towers that we spoke about the last time. You recall that the Ascot area had about 5 towers to match the residential and commercial development for the city of Bulawayo from 1950. We also emphasize from that zone vertical expansion with minimum big duplexes with 2 apartments to increase density while maintaining the character of the area. We also call for underground parking for contemporary flats to maximize usable space and improve aesthetics. Kenilworth, Arlington, they have this type of parking. Then design should minimize electricity use through natural light and solar energy integration. From the plan, the proposed cluster homes are what you see in yellow hashed brown. So we propose that area to be the cluster homes zone. Then what you see in deeper on the upper side of the map, deeper brown and white is the existing cluster homes like I've spoken of, your Kenilworth, your Ascot Mills, and your Arlington flats. I hope colleagues and stakeholders are forming. These are the types of duplexes or cluster homes that we envisage in the coming years for the ASCOT-PRECINCT area. As you can see, 2 families would easily be accommodated from that duplex structure. Then Zone 2, we propose that this area be for shops and offices, and this should include a signature shopping mall. A contemporary shopping mall will be established as Bulawayo's pride for commerce, featuring world-class design and amenities. The shopping mall must ensure that infrastructure will not just be functional, but designed to offer an immersive shopping experience that blends luxury with cultural aesthetics. Then the modern mall will also become Bulawayo's communal space for working, for gathering, for socializing, and enjoying leisure activities. In terms of architectural excellence, the design will feature a seamless blend of modernity and elegance with expansive glass facades and sophisticated interiors that sets new standards. The mall must host high-end beauty and wellness brands, including top international names and exclusive boutiques that attract regional shoppers. So the business and shops zone is the one that you see in deep blue. This is where we envisage our business and shops or the mall to be located. This is our typical mall from a town planning perspective, typical matching the standards of the Mall of Africa in South Africa, matching the Accra Mall. This is the type of setup that we envisage to see in the coming years. Then in terms of business, we also zone the area as a office park. There should be an office park zone for contemporary office environment. A modern office park zone will be established to the north and northeast of the proposed road, creating a professional business distinct that will attract businesses and foster job creation, that will stimulate local economic activity, that will complement the surrounding mixed-use developments, that will incorporate green building standards and efficient infrastructure, that will provide underground parking to maximize usable space. The area that I'm talking about right now, the business, the office park zone, is the one that you see in lighter blue. So as you can see, it's along that proposed road alignment that we're also going to talk about shortly. So these are the envisaged types of office parks. We envisage an area that maximizes densification, vertical expansion, not the horizontal type of expansion. Then the other zone is the institutional zone. This institutional zone will incorporate quite a number of public buildings. One amongst them is the medical health facilities. The areas marked red will be zoned for institutional purposes, especially along the St. Luke's road or avenue, earmarked for contemporary medical suites to complement the United Bulawayo Hospitals, that is UBH. We also envisage a specialized care center in proximity to the public hospital. We believe it will create a hub for specialized care, reducing patient travel times, improving health outcomes through integrated services. We also envisage infrastructure efficiency, which leverages existing hospital infrastructure while reducing urban sprawl by concentrating the medical services in that particular precinct. Then in terms of urban generation, it complements the mixed-use development to create a vibrant, health-focused precinct with amenities for staffs, for patients, and for visitors. The area or the institutional zone seeks also to create future community facilities. There is a local authority site that we have created there that is established to cater for other envisage of future community facilities that may be needed by the city of Bulawayo. This zone aligns with smart city planning, healthcare efficiency, and economic growth, justifying strategic placement near the hospital. The zone that I'm talking about is in red. As you can see, it's along the St. Luke's Road, and there is the local authority site on the upper side of the planning area. So the area that I'm talking about is the one that is colored red. So those are the type of medical health facilities that we envisage. Your corporate 24 health facility, then the other one down, Robert Mugabe, near Padonest, between North End and Padonest. Those are the type of medical facilities that we envisage. And within those, you can see that probably an accommodation for the health staff, and also in terms of residential development to meet the needs of Bulawayo as a city. Then the other zone is the recreational zone. Like I said, stakeholders noted that the area should not be completely overhauled, but it should be integrated with the recreational system. The areas colored green will be zoned for recreational purposes, including active open spaces for an amusement park, for passive open spaces. Then the active open spaces will act as buffer between the existing residential development, that is your Ascot News, your Arlington, your Kenilworth, and the proposed commercial area, as you are going to see. Then the green infrastructure, including parks and wetlands, will mitigate heat islands, improve air quality, and manage stormwater. Then a sports arena center is proposed to host major concert exhibition, civic gatherings, fostering social cohesion. This will complement the existing grandstands at the former Ascot Racecourse. So the whole area that you see in green is zoned for recreational purposes. As you can see, colleagues and stakeholders, we have zoned the area into different zones, but the major zone that we have kept is the green or the recreational aspect, which you see there. But The green, it's also going to act as buffer, like I have said, to incorporate or to buffer against the existing residential areas that you see in your deep brown, that you see in your proposed yellow and yellow hashed brown setup or colors. And it's also going to act as buffer to separate, as you can see, the area is zoned or it's divided into two parts, separated by this major road that you see. So the area again is going to act as buffer from the road itself and also from the developments that you see. So that is the bird's eye view of what we envisage. And as you can see, there is a lot of greenery in the proposals. The greenery, as you can see, it separates the proposed residential, which is this one, the existing where your ASCOT News, your Holiday Inn and your ASCOT shopping centers are. It then separates this existing from the proposed mall again, as you can see. So a water feature there or any feature that will be relevant, like I've said, the area is divided into two, this first part and that other part divided by the proposed road alignment that we're also going to talk about. But as you can see, the green is also evident on the other side of the proposals. Then we also saw that from our situational analysis, there is a challenge of hospitality infrastructure. So we propose that the area that is colored in plain orange to the south of the planning area along the proposed road alignment will become Bulawayo's largest and most modern hospitality landmark, addressing the city's critical shortage of upscale accommodations. Probably this should provide more than the 400 rooms that Bulawayo's Rainbow and Holiday Inn will provide combined. So this site, this hotel, must provide 400 plus elegantly designed rooms and suites blending modern aesthetics with local cultural influences to create a distinctive hospitality experience. We also envisage that area to have a state-of-the-art conference center with multi-purpose halls, ideal for corporate summits, ideal for weddings, ideal for international expos that attract visitors to Bulawayo. We also expect the hotel to provide diverse dining options, including a rooftop restaurant, lobby lounge, premium bars showcasing Zimbabwe's cuisine and global flavors. We also envisage from that hotel site to have co-working spaces, the spas, the gym, the pool to cater to both professionals and leisure travelers, creating a comprehensive hospitality destination. The site that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is this one, the orange one. This is where we propose a hotel site along the road proposal to match also the amusement park, but to create life also along that proposed road. We also tried to do a sketch of a hotel site that we want to see there. As you can see, that hotel has more than 10 floors. Forgive us the cars that you see there. We don't envisage this sprawl type of parking, the horizontal, but like we said, in this area, we propose that parking should be underground, but that was just shown. This is a 3D express of what we envisage. You would recall also in terms of traffic and transportation that the master plan proposed that there be road realignment. So this local subject plan, the ASCOT-PRECINCT plan, proposes that the realignment of the Escotini Road, according to the master plan, be appreciated and to create high-speed, high-volume corridor that accommodates envisaged growth. So we need to implement the master plan proposals and the local development plan number 5's proposals. So the road realignment I'm going to share with you again. So instead of having the current setup where a 12th Avenue extension stretches into Escotini, creating a lot of traffic, jungle and chaos, we propose a realignment that I'm going to speak to. We also seek to eliminate the dangerous S-curve, that is a traffic accident hotspot, avoiding the almost 100-meter intersection to enhance safety. You would all agree that from Ascot Avenue up to 12 or Escotini Road into this other road that I'm forgetting, it's a 100-meter intersection. Cars have to stop and access the other roads there. So this alignment seeks to eliminate that dangerous S-curve, as we are going to show. We also seek to downgrade the current Escotini Road to a 25-meter access road, providing entry only to the hotel, the amusement parks. The road that I was looking for was the Phillips Drive Road, discouraging direct access to the hotels, to the amusement park from the high-speed roads. The plan also proposes that 2 footbridges linking the areas separated by the proposed road, like I have shown, be established to enhance pedestrian safety and neighborhood connectivity. Then, in terms of the mall access, a new access road to the Bulawayo Mall from Greyville Road, as I'm going to show, be established to provide efficient circulation for shoppers and service vehicles. There should be no direct access from the high-speed road into the mall, but an access road has been proposed. We also, like we have said, proposed a road closure of a portion of the Escotini Road to improve the traffic flow and safety in the reconfigured network. The Town Planning Department and the Department of Works will collaborate to work on the detailed designs for all transportation elements, ensuring integration with overall precinct plan. The road that I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the proposed road is this one. Coming from this side, this will be your UPH. This will be the current Escotini Road, which goes this way. But the current plan proposes that the road dissects into the former Ascot areas and goes to access into 12th Avenue Extension or into 3rd Street. So this is the road proposal. It's a 50-meter road, similar size of the current Escotini Road. And then the road closures that I was talking about. Currently, we access Phillips Drives or 3rd Avenue or Ascot Avenue from this direction. Therefore, we propose that there be a road closure of this portion of this road to downgrade it into a 25-meter road rather than a 50-meter road. You would recall that data from ZRP noted that this area, that is Escotini Road and Phillips Drive, then your 3rd Avenue, then your Ascot Avenue, it's the hotspot for traffic accidents in the city of Bulawayo, including the Ascot traffic lights. So these are the proposed road alignments. But as you can see, again, ladies and gentlemen, like I've spoken, there is a road which is not yet developed, the Greyville Road. It's already surveyed. It accesses the proposed or the existing Ascot Mills, the Arlington Flats, and the Phoenix luxury apartments. So that Greyville Road needs to be established to be the connector and the link between the existing infrastructure currently at Ascot and the proposed infrastructure. Again, like I've said, there is going to be an access road from Greyville Avenue to access the mall. There is not going to be any direct link into the proposed 50-meter road.
there is going to be established access roads within the proposed development. Your St. Luke's is then also going to be aligned at the corner there to avoid that almost S-curve in front of UPH, to provide that almost straight, and then a pedestrian crossing to ensure that pedestrians and the cyclists are going to cross from UPH into the proposed development. This is the bird's eye view of the envisaged proposals for the ASCOT area. Like I've said, what you see on top there is the existing ASCOT infrastructure, your luxury apartments, your Phoenix, your Arlington, your Kensington flats, and then these are the proposed developments along St. Luke's, and then this will be your proposed hotel site, which is going to be accessed from this side, and then these are the current buildings that are already there in the former ASCOT racecourse area, and then the sports arena that is proposed there. Then the road alignment, as you can see currently, you access through this site, your escorting road, but we propose the closure of the portion of this road and the creation of a 25-meter road to meet the current 12th Avenue extension or the 3rd Street road. The feature that I spoke about, you see there is a lot of greenery, recreational spaces, as you can see. So that is the bird's eye view. As you can see, that will be your Ascot Way. The Greyville Road that I spoke about, that currently connects the two developments. The road is not yet established, but it has been surveyed. The road is going to be the linkage from the existing infrastructure and the proposed development. But again, as you can see, the Greyville Road is also going to be the access road into the proposed mall. This is the proposed mall site that we envisage. As you can see, to separate the Ascot Mills and other residential development, we propose a lot of greenery, a lot of recreational space, not only with the existing, but separate the commercial also with the proposed development. Again, that is a bird's eye view, and as you can see, with these towers now, we envisage those 5 towers that we spoke about, that were proposed by those of us that were there in the 1950s. This is the vision that we seek to see. And ladies and gentlemen, this is just but a 3D vision of what we envisage seeing in the coming years, whether we will be there or not. Like we said, we should not be selfish in terms of planning. Those generations to come after us are going to see as to how they are going to implement the vision. As they say, where there is no vision, people perish. So this is the envisaged area like I've shown. This is the bird's eye view. This is your view from St. Luke's, and this is the type of infrastructure that we would want to see. These are the duplex to complement the Phoenix luxury apartments, to complement Ascot views, and so forth, and so on. That is the envisaged mall. If you think of the Mall of Africa in South Africa, why not think of the Mall of Bulawayo in Zimbabwe? So, ladies and gentlemen, the director has shared the next steps. The next steps after this, we are going to incorporate the feedbacks that we are going to get from this meeting and then provide a document that is going to go to public exhibition from August to September 2025. And then after that, we are also going to incorporate those views and feedbacks that are going to come from the stakeholders and the technical team to finalize the plan for adoption. The plan is then going to be sent for council adoption sometime in November 2025, and then it's going to go to Government Gazette from November to December 2025. Thereafter, the plan is going to be operative. The implementation of the ASCOT precinct plan will be a multi-year process requiring coordination amongst various stakeholders, requiring careful phasing and ongoing monitoring to ensure the vision is realized effectively. I thank you.
This one, the existing where your ASCOT News, your Holiday Inn and your ASCOT shopping centers are, it then separates this existing from the proposed mall again, as you can see. So a water feature there or any feature that will be relevant, like I've said, the area is divided into two, this first part and that other part divided by the proposed road alignment that we're also going to talk about. But as you can see, the green is also evident on the other side of the proposals. Then we also saw that from our situational analysis, there is a challenge of hospitality infrastructure. So we propose that the area that is colored in plain orange to the south of the planning area along the proposed road alignment will become Bulawayo's largest and most modern hospitality landmark, addressing the city's critical shortage of upscale accommodations. Probably this should provide more than the 400 rooms that Bulawayo's Rainbow and Holiday Inn will provide combined. So this site, this hotel, must provide 400 plus elegantly designed rooms and suites blending modern aesthetics with local cultural influences to create a distinctive hospitality experience. We also envisage that area to have a state-of-the-art conference center with multi-purpose halls, ideal for corporate summits, ideal for weddings, ideal for international expos that attract visitors to Bulawayo. We also expect the hotel to provide diverse dining options, including a rooftop restaurant, lobby lounge, premium bars showcasing Zimbabwe's cuisine and global flavors. We also envisage from that hotel site to have co-working spaces, the spas, the gym, the pool to cater to both professionals and leisure travelers, creating a comprehensive hospitality destination. The site that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is this one, the orange one. This is where we propose a hotel site along the road proposal to match also the amusement park, but to create life also along that proposed road. We also tried to do a sketch of a hotel site that we want to see there. As you can see, that hotel has more than 10 floors. Forgive us the cars that you see there. We don't envisage this sprawl type of parking, the horizontal, but like we said, in this area, we propose that parking should be underground, but that was just shown. This is a 3D express of what we envisage. You would recall also in terms of traffic and transportation that the master plan proposed that there be road realignment. So this local subject plan, the ASCOT precinct plan, proposes that the realignment of the Escotini Road, according to the master plan, be appreciated and to create high-speed, high-volume corridor that accommodates envisaged growth. So we need to implement the master plan proposals and the local development plan number 5's proposals. So the road realignment, I'm going to share with you again. So instead of having the current setup where a 12th Avenue extension stretches into Escotini, creating a lot of traffic, jungle and chaos, we propose a realignment that I'm going to speak to. We also seek to eliminate the dangerous S-curve, that is a traffic accident hotspot, avoiding the almost 100-meter intersection to enhance safety. You would all agree that from Ascot Avenue up to 12 or Escotini Road into this other road that I'm forgetting, It's a 100-meter intersection. Cars have to stop and access the other roads there. So this alignment seeks to eliminate that dangerous S-curve, as we are going to show. We also seek to downgrade the current Esgodini road to a 25-meter access road, providing entry only to the hotel, the amusement parks. The road that I was looking for was the Phillips Drive road, discouraging direct access to the hotels, to the amusement park from the high-speed roads. The plan also proposes that 2 footbridges linking the areas separated by the proposed road, like I have shown, be established to enhance pedestrian safety and neighborhood connectivity. Then, in terms of the mall access, a new access road to the Bulawayo Mall from Greyville Road, as I'm going to show, be established to provide efficient circulation for shoppers and service vehicles. There should be no direct access from the high-speed road into the mall, but an access road has been proposed. We also, like we have said, proposed a road closure of a portion of the Esgodini Road to improve the traffic flow and safety in the reconfigured network. The Town Planning Department and the Department of Works will collaborate to work on the detailed designs for all transportation elements, ensuring integration with overall precinct plan. The road that I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the proposed road is this one. Coming from this side, this will be your UPH. This will be the current Esgodini Road, which goes this way. But the current plan proposes that the road dissects into the former ASCOT areas and goes to access into 12th Avenue Extension or into 3rd Street. So this is the road proposal. It's a 50-meter road, similar size of the current Esgodini Road. And then the road closures that I was talking about. Currently, we access Phillips Drives or 3rd Avenue or ASCOT Avenue from this direction. Therefore, we propose that there be a road closure of this portion of this road to downgrade it into a 25-meter road rather than a 50-meter road. You would recall that data from ZRP noted that this area, that is Esgodini Road and Phillips Drive, then your 3rd Avenue, then your ASCOT Avenue, it's the hotspot for traffic accidents in the city of Bulawayo, including the ASCOT traffic lights. So these are the proposed road alignments. But as you can see, again, ladies and gentlemen, like I've spoken, there is a road which is not yet developed, the Greyville Road. It's already surveyed. It accesses the proposed or the existing ASCOT Mills, the Arlington Flats, and the Phoenix luxury apartments. So that Greyville Road needs to be established to be the connector and the link between the existing infrastructure currently at ASCOT and the proposed infrastructure. Again, like I've said, there is going to be an access road from Greyville Avenue to access the mall. There is not going to be any direct link into the proposed 50-meter road. There is going to be established access roads within the proposed development. Your St. Luke's is then also going to be aligned at the corner there to avoid that almost S-curve in front of UPH, to provide that almost straight, and then a pedestrian crossing to ensure that pedestrians and the cyclists are going to cross from UPH into the proposed development. This is the bird's eye view of the envisaged proposals for the ASCOT area. Like I've said, what you see on top there is the existing ASCOT infrastructure.
your luxury apartments, your Phoenix, your Arlington, your Kensington flats, and then these are the proposed developments along St. Luke's, and then this will be your proposed hotel site, which is going to be accessed from this side, and then these are the current buildings that are already there in the former ASCOT racecourse area, and then the sports arena that is proposed there. Then the road alignment, as you can see currently, you access through this site, your escorting road, but we propose the closure of the portion of this road and the creation of a 25-meter road to meet the current Tofta Valley extension or the 3rd Street road. The feature that I spoke about, you see there is a lot of greenery, recreational spaces, as you can see. So that is the bird's eye view. As you can see, that will be your Ascot Way. The Grayville Road that I spoke about that currently connects the two developments. The road is not yet established, but it has been surveyed. The road is going to be the linkage from the existing infrastructure and the proposed development. But again, as you can see, the Grayville Road is also going to be the access road into the proposed mall. This is the proposed mall site that we envisage. As you can see, to separate the Ascot Mills and other residential development, we propose a lot of greenery, a lot of recreational space, not only with the existing, but separate the commercial also with the proposed development. Again, that is a bird's eye view, and as you can see, with these towers now, we envisage those 5 towers that we spoke about that were proposed by those of us that were there in the 1950s. This is the vision that we seek to see. And ladies and gentlemen, this is just but a 3D vision of what we envisage seeing in the coming years, whether we will be there or not. Like we said, we should not be selfish in terms of planning. Those generations to come after us are going to see as to how they are going to implement the vision. As they say, where there is no vision, people perish. So this is the envisaged area like I've shown. This is the bird's eye view. This is your view from St. Luke's, and this is the type of infrastructure that we want to see. These are the duplex to complement the Phoenix luxury apartments, to complement Ascot views, and so forth, and so on. That is the envisaged mall. If you think of the Mall of Africa in South Africa, why not think of the Mall of Bulawayo in Zimbabwe? So, ladies and gentlemen, the director has shared the next steps. The next steps after this, we are going to incorporate the feedbacks that we are going to get from this meeting and then provide a document that is going to go to public exhibition from August to September 2025. And then after that, we are also going to incorporate those views and feedbacks that are going to come from the stakeholders and the technical team to finalize the plan for adoption. The plan is then going to be sent for council adoption sometime in November 2025, and then it's going to go to Government Gazette from November to December 2025. Thereafter, the plan is going to be operative. The implementation of the ASCOT Precinct Plan will be a multi-year process requiring coordination amongst various stakeholders, requiring careful phasing and ongoing monitoring to ensure the vision is realized effectively. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stole, for the detailed presentation. May I invite our acting town clerk, our acting mayor, the chairperson of the town lands and the director of town planning to the front. We are now taking any questions or comments relating to the presentation of the local subject plan. We are opening the floor for any questions or comments or remarks regarding the presentation. Okay, we have a question. If you could please introduce yourself and then you can state your comment or question.
Thank you. My name is M.T. Mahlaba. In fact, I must say, Mr. Stole, your presentation is quite convincing. The flow of your ideas cannot be faulted. And your belief in your proposal is amazing. What I just wanted to find out, we are aware that there are new townhouses that have been built on ASCOT space. How much of the land has they taken? And at the same time, will they be in accordance with the master plan? If not, why they?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Masamu. We will take another question or a comment before we invite our town clerk to respond. We kindly request that when you ask the question, please introduce yourself so that for minuting purposes. Thank you.
My name is on your plan, there's a plan for housing. Initially, you mentioned it was for use. I was just wondering, but later on in the presentation, it looked like it was going to be open for families. I was just wondering if, for use housing, if the city was planning to subsidize that housing for the use.
Thank you very much, Maxine. We will take another question before we respond. Okay, there's a hand.
My name is T. Sika. I've got a couple of questions for the two in particular. In as far as this is planning oriented, how much has been put into consideration to bring it closer to what is financially or economically possible and within the realm of reality with what is obtained now? Because some of the proposals there, they might be good while looking at them 3D. How realistic are they? And then the other issue is, in the first meeting that we had, the city had tied itself down to say there is an employment problem in the way, and much emphasis will be put in improving employment, improving commercial activity. And remember, this is planning for the next 50 years. Now we see townhouses that have been set. Are we not really putting much emphasis on housing when we're supposed to put emphasis on commercial activity? Considering that local plan 19 years with a lot of townhouses coming up, and there's already some other land around the city where townhouses are. Because look at Bulawayo CBT universities right now. I don't think when it was being, well, this is what we're trying to do. We are trying to create a replica or a smaller CBT in that area. I do not, looking at this city, that it was planned around us. It was planned around commercialization. And it being mixed use in nature, we've seen in other countries like South Africa, the entire floor space or the entire ground floor of that area would have been sensible if it had been put towards commercial use. And whatever is upstairs can be taken to residential. Because in the next 40 years, I don't think that there's going to be a need for these townhouses. Some of them that we see that have been proposed here are townhouses that are just like that Phoenix, which is just because that's a plush townhouse development. Officially, in this boom right now, very few people can afford to buy 100 of those. And so it's not as realistic as I think it should. And I think much emphasis should be put to control it closer to being realistic. And if you consider the problems that the youth are facing, unemployment, the stagnation in the city, of course, we go to conservation of population. I think that is those are the questions. How realistic is this plan?
Okay, thank you. I think we will respond. May I welcome Tom to respond to the questions that have been asked, and then we'll take another question.
Thank you for the questions and the comments as well. Like I said, in your own, that's how we live. And from here, I think after we looked at what we are doing now, we should be one team now going to work to tell the world what we want. Because the first question was, when townhouses is already, we have good townhouses which are there. Are they in line? Are they in line with the master plan, the local plans? The answer is yes. They are in line with local plan number 5, and they are in line with the operating master plan. Those are operating. And they are also in line with the existing development, as we see the unemployed flats and so forth. All that come under cluster housing. The difference could be the other one is going high, up, as flats and so forth. And that is in line with the 1950s plan that was presented in the board that is there. So it's been, those are in line. Then the youth housing, the social housing, this very interesting question and also an observation. Then immediately after she asked that question, he responded as well. Asking a question, but also as a response to what she's saying. To say, why do we is there in ASCOT? ASCOT should be a landmark for Blawa. If ASCOT should be able to talk to, assuming Munda is Blawa, should be able to talk to Munda. ASCOT should be able to talk to County Park. Any place in Blawa should be able to relate to ASCOT. So when we are talking of social housing, like the youth housing, subsidized housing, that's also social housing. I would want to think is social housing, which I think the director of housing, I think will take this opportunity to talk about social housing, because we're also planning social housing, but it should be different from that one, because you are saying it's an up market, and you are saying maybe it's beyond what the economy can take. But maybe the response is, where there is a good plan, it will attract the money. If the plan is good, it will attract the money. So we need to dream to achieve what we want. We need to dream. Because saying I want this, it prevents you from getting that. You might be very close to what you want. That's what. And the people of tomorrow might do better than us. They might be able to raise resources. What we see in other countries now, buildings being manufactured in factories, we might be going there and we get there. Being manufactured in factories and being put here. It's very possible if we train. Planners will train and expect people to come and we work together towards that training. So I think as we move together, we have to get there. So today, we might have this, but tomorrow is unknown. So let's work towards that unknown, and the generations improve. Our children are better than us. So I believe, like Martha was saying, that there is belief in this. It's coupled to belief. We believe that we should be able to achieve those things. So investors here, stakeholders, look for money, look for investment. What we see in China, what we see in other countries, Malaysia and so forth, it's not something out of this world, because they are also members of this world. So we can do it. Thank you.
Maybe in terms of housing for the youth, I think the plan provides an intent that there would be some form of housing to cater for the youth needs. Envisage perhaps a rental housing facilities where our youths that are coming up can easily find the proper accommodation that will be provided through the plan reservations. And then in terms of creating employment opportunities, the planner indicated the various types of facilities that are proposed there, from institutional facilities to hotels, to commercial spaces. If all these facilities are developed, I think they are providing employment opportunities as they become operational. So the plan indeed caters for the employment issues in as far as provision of requisite services. So I think the plan talks to employment creation through various services and infrastructure that will be provided, and providing all the requisite services from the hospitality industries, that side, to the commercial, to the recreational, all those facilities. The intended purposes, other than ensuring that there is business, is that the residents will be employed to provide the services. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe just an addition to Nasika. It's supposed to say maybe we might be having too much residential area. Maybe what I want to say that when we look at the number 19, look at the number 19 which is now operating. We did it not so long, but it's now operating. It is also bringing in or introducing mixed uses where some commercial activities are being introduced. Because these uses, like maybe go back to Form 2 geography, they compete. And naturally, you find another use coming in to substitute another one. Like we've got suburbs there. The commercial is now coming in to outcompete the residential. You will find all the things that are happening there in suburbs. They don't seem to be residential. We have now introduced those corridors, mixed-use corridors, where commercial is going in. And we're also working on this northern part of the city, where maybe it used to be a bit of residential, and you can see what is happening. There's a lot of commercial activities that is going on, substituting or moving away the residential. So naturally, the uses, they push each other. And we've got a shortage of housing. And at the moment now, that we're going on densification. In terms of the settlement bodies, 40% of our layouts are providing land for flats so that we densify, so that we accommodate the housing. And normally now, the trades that are there, people should not live away, as long as those things are not obtrusive, should not live very far from where they play, where they work, and where they stay.
Thank you. We will take more questions. Okay, we'll start with the back. I think it was the first hand that was up. Lady in the back, and we'll follow with the gentleman. Take your hands inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll then move to the other side. You can start now.
Good morning. I have an analysis and 2 questions. My first analysis is
May we remember to introduce ourselves for meeting purposes. Thank you.
My name is Lucy Bonchua. My first analysis is the model feels like a Singapore housing model from what I see, which for me is a problem because it requires scalability. Scalability requires economic development. It feels as though the project is not promoting economic development or attracting investment into the city. One gentleman did mention the building of cluster homes. As an investor, the first thing I look for is if it's going to be a rental property, how much is it going to give me? What's the cap rate of that area? So already, what's the level of security of that area in terms of population density? So are we looking at the economic value of the project in terms of what it will bring for the value of the investor bringing money into the table? And in terms of output to return on investment, how will that come through? Because we have to look at that now as a blueprint, the original blueprint. And that blueprint was designed for that particular population at that particular time. But now that the population is growing, the economics are growing, the industries are changing, how are we incorporating that housing to say, okay, as a 40-year-old, how am I going to make business with this? You're speaking of suburbs going into commercial, but are we understanding that suburbs is becoming commercial because people are moving away from town because of parking? So then what happens to businesses in town? Because you're building, now a lot of businesses are turning into malls. Malls are turning into a vendor market economy. How are we sustaining the city? Because then how does that sustain the industry? The one that's building the commodities to sell. If you're promoting the malls that are selling the same things from South Africa, where manufacturers trying to manufacture the same thing. So I think we should look at the housing as an overall general in terms of the economics of now. How it affects the employment. How it affects the young person wanting to buy a house. Not just as a good idea for aesthetics. But we have to look at it from an investment point of view to say, how are we attracting that change? Because industry is changing. AI is coming in. How are we facilitating that? You spoke of the legacy. How are we facilitating that from just this year and going to say, for the next 20 years, a lot of companies are built on 100-year legacies. Split them into 20, split them into 5, and then make it realistic in terms of that development and say, okay, this is what we're achieving. And in terms of the overall employment, this is what it's bringing. Because at this point, we're just talking on surface. We're not hitting the wrong button. We're not hitting what actually will drive our to actually change. Because if we're going to use real estate as a driver, that model for me, at the moment, I think we need to believe this in terms of how it should be placed. That's my first point. My second point is, I'm standing here as a stakeholder of ASCOT. I started the ASCOT process in 2019, September 2019, as an interested party, and took a journey with council on that journey. Today, a whole new concept is being proposed, but as a current stakeholder, I was not notified of these new changes. A feasibility was done and submitted to council, and council is aware. So, these are the public platform that we're at is where do we then fit in as interested parties that came prior to the local subject development plan, because you did engage us, you did communicate with us, but when it came to the local subject plan, we simply had been divorced from the process. And only for us to come to a meeting like this and be told a whole new different story, where does that place us in terms of being an interested party?
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the next question.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Promise Radio, and currently a student at
So my first question would emanate from my position as a student. Because from a social analysis of the past developments that have occurred, taking into consideration developments like the student complex, aiming at addressing the residential or let's say the places that the students used to stay, we have seen that the development came as a major milestone, but it failed to actually accommodate for our current economic crisis, considering the current fees for the residential are very high. Now what I'm saying is in our developments, in most of the developments, we would see much development leading to an increase in the payment of the residential fees. For example, in the development of these houses and everything in residential areas, we might come to a point when we see people being forced to actually pay much more than we have already been paying. So how much is this being considered targeted in the future? We might be in a sense space where people are actually still earning less or the economic crisis is still existing. And then on my second question, or my second part, I would like to say, as a development that will happen in the future, what metrics are we going to use in order to measure the milestone and everything? Was as a young person, I would like to anticipate that I will be available at that point in time when these things are happening. What metrics are going to be used to measure the development or the progress of the whole project? I thank you.
All right, thank you. We do have hands that are here at the front. We have two, and then we'll move on to the other side, and then we'll respond and then come back for another round of questions.
Thank you. My name is Martin. I don't know whether I should be asking a question or I should be just a general comment. Your presentation is brilliant on paper. Tend to think that it's likely going to be a white elephant. What really inspired you to bring this master plan? Because to me, I'm looking at the local authorities' policy, specifically, and the government policy in general. There's a great segment for businessmen. Is the local authority funding development? I can certainly say no. You are attracting private investor partnership, and then if it is private partnership, what attracts a private investor? We should look at the local economy. Is the local economy palliative? What informs the activities of the local economy? Is the policy fundamentals conducive for the kind of development? I can imagine, yes, there is a lot of capital out there, but the fundamentals conducive. I know actually, maybe you might not have the answer, because I give a typical example where, there's so much bureaucracy for something that definitely can be approved locally. It has to be approved by the office of the president and cabinet. And if I was a millionaire, which I pray very, if I was a millionaire, would I wait for that kind of bureaucracy up until it is approved, or I can go to one? I just want to be informed on the basis of economic development before this tech what exactly will attract an investor to come there. If anyone with the economic development background, please help us. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take the next question and then we'll move on to the last one and then we will respond.
Good morning, my name is Musso. The last time we were at a small city, I was really against developments. Maybe it was because we had not seen what kind of developments are going to be brought into the ASCOT race course. But when we are quite impressive. But what I'm against in that local plan trade is to waste land building cluster homes. Of course, we know we have a problem of accommodation in the city. But if those cluster homes can be removed from that local plan trade, because you find that those houses will only benefit maybe 80 to 100 people, unless and until we have buildings that will be built going upwards flats. The kind of setup, given that even the director of town planning raised the issue of accommodation problems, I should think it will be a waste of space to have those cluster homes being built. We would rather have flats like the other sectors at such a state. It will be better for us to completely remove all those cluster homes. And if we are to have accommodation, let it be accommodation that we own the flats, then maybe underneath we have a commercial shops, then we have the accommodation in form of flats, since we are in deep crisis of land now and accommodation, I think.
Okay, thank you. The last question, the last comment.
Morning, my name is Ismail Sida. First of all, our economy at the present moment is not internationally friendly for us to utilize this valuable piece of land. We need developers from the international world. The city is not friendly for investment at the present moment. Our banking systems, building societies, they do not have the correct financing and it's not available. Even if you do any housing project or any project on this land, who's going to finance it at the right return of investment on interest charge on long-term finance? ASCOT in itself why are we rushing on this land? Who proposed it? And who are you going to sell this land to? Is it going to go to friends, like we see other pieces of ground being sold, that I personally applied for in the 80s. I've applied for land and I was told that there are buffer zones, there are green belts, and we don't receive that land, and today it's sold to connections. So a project of this nature, first, horse racing is an international multi-billion-dollar business. Borrowing Group, Kenilworth horse racing in Cape Town, Kenilworth, racecourse, Durban, July. It should remain as that when the country can invite investors for horse racing. It should remain failure to remain as that, and I propose, after we exhausted that, in 10 or 20 years' time, when our country is internationally friendly and we get investment, we look at it then later on. Because this land is the closest to the city. You cannot get any land of 68 acres close by. In Indonesia, we're taking now, if we do not leave it as a race course, they have shopping centers with 40-story buildings above it, with every facility that you can think of. And that is my proposal, that you can have hospitals, you can have banks, you can have everything that you have put there, but in addition to that, and we have to go higher with underground parking. We're wasting a valuable piece of ground. We need to look at international investors, not today, when Zimbabwe becomes friendly for everyone, and they're going to get a return on their property. Then we look at multi-billion-dollar organizations from abroad to develop this. Harare has moved forward with the UAE investment coming into Harare. We don't have one UAE investment here because we got too much bureaucracy. We don't have one single international company coming into Bulawayo for development of this nature. Even the blue area, I don't know how many acres we've allocated for shopping center. We do need, like you say, Africa more, but not singular or not 3 stories. With it, residential and offices, etc. Townhouses being developed above the ground. Above the ground in the international world, they've got townhouses on the 20th floor with its own gardens. We need to. There's penthouses as well in Cape Town, where I normally go and visit quite often. This is an underdevelopment. It's nice. It's too small for the size of the ground. What we are proposing, we need a greater insight into this for development. We should set this aside for a few years. There should be no rush on it. It's got a lot of potential, this property, this ground. The ASCOT Towers, Arlington, ASCOT News, in real terms, they are obsolete. Because 50 years have elapsed. We need something much more outer than that on this 68. It will attract the entire city of Bulawayo to this 68 acres if we do not reserve it as a horse racing. Thank you.
Okay.
How do we acquire the land anyway if we want to develop it? When you do EPTs approved, how do we acquire this land?
Okay, thank you. I think we'll respond. We've had a number of questions, but maybe Mr. Siziva, as you respond, we'll request that you highlight maybe the purpose of a local subject plan so that we
Thank you very much, the stakeholders, the contributors, the people who contributed here. That's how we share with the local government. What is coming from you is very critical, and I'm sure notes are being taken. Because what we've created, I think earlier on you heard that I said, one person started, they became 2, they became 3, they became 4, 5, 6, all coming with ideas. Today you are here yourself, you are coming with those ideas. So we are putting together those ideas so that at least we build that. The ideas in no particular order will I answer these questions, but I will attempt all of them, I will answer all of them, but without following the order. Maybe what we have to understand, a local subject plan or a local plan is to provide a direction to say, where are we going from here, where we are, and maybe to rezone certain areas. Because that area, in terms of the master plan, is zoned residential, and the master plan is operating. We cannot argue with the operating master plan, which is there. Local subject, local plan number 5, which also covers that area, is zoned that area residential. So we are bringing this local subject plan so that that we attend to some of the gaps and also to say we've got 68 hectares, which is primary land for Bulawayo. What do we need to be done? So we are giving the guidelines, the vision, and to say where are we going. Some of the things that are coming, some of these, the details which are going to follow later on as we move, because the proposal and the plan will be submitted. Like I said earlier on, is to thank some of the people that have contributed here to say, instead of this cluster housing, flat ones, let's go to high-rise. I think that's what we are thinking as well, to say maybe we reduce that. I think it has come from him, from Yasinga, and also from Sedat. That's the direction that we are saying, let's take that direction. And it also, the questions were hinted where they were saying, let's not waste air, let's make value, getting value from the air. I think that's what is being, that's what is coming from here. And also maybe to understand that this is a special plan to say what is the trend, where are we going? The EK master plan, that is the vision where we're going. There will be also economic plans that are also being crafted, that will also be put together so that they're implemented together with these special plans, where we look at the economy. And also, let's remember that we're looking at ASCOT, which is 68 hectares. I said earlier on, we should talk to everybody in the city, because that's one of the most important areas that we have. But we've got other, as an urban area, is a system. Those ones are like a system. It has got subsystem. And subsystem, like we've got industrial, which also talk to the economy. We will be presenting, look at the number 8, which we are doing very soon, which will be talking to some of the issues, the economic creation zones and the other issues that are to talk to those things. So we'll be presenting, look at the number 8. We're also working on it as well. Then there was the aspect to say, we're going to vendors, we're going to this and that, here and there, in the city and so on. That's what is obtaining. Because informality is the road to formality. So we try to pick this local. How do we pick that to where we want to go? And there was also the issue that we will not accommodating maybe what people have presented and so on. Maybe let me put it this way, so that all of us understand that land is public land. As it is public land, it belongs to all voters, everybody. And the files, we've got big files that are full of proposals, expressions of interest, that any individual who has expressed interest, they think they are the only ones. But there are many. If I was to say to people, can you raise a hand, those that have expressed interest, I can see a number here who have expressed interest. They are also equal to the very person who thinks maybe the only interest of his must be taken. So I'm saying that so that you understand that that land is public land. It belongs to everybody. And also, the laws of the country, they discourage the office of work or unsolicited bids. We want to be transparent and make everybody have an opportunity. You can't say, I've discovered ASCOT. You can't discover ASCOT just today. It's there ASCOT. And all people who are here should have an equal opportunity for ASCOT to develop ASCOT, not an individual. And it defines the number of people. I just repeat for emphasis so that you understand. There are a number of people who have expressed interest, who have written proposals on ASCOT. But we say as a city, we do take ideas, but people who come in, the investors, must know what the city wants and where the city is going. And that's what is coming from yourselves here to say, let's build the ASCOT that is like this. That should come from there. Nobody should say, ASCOT is mine, put some interest and what are put as a proposal must be followed. I think I'm making this so that people can understand. Once we have done this, the plan has been done. Because the plan must be done. In my opening remarks, I spoke of capital planning, that the whole city must be planned. Every square meter must be planned. Once it's planned, then we will call for people to express their interest to say, we want to develop, and what we want to develop in line with the zones that are there. Then everybody will submit their bids, they will be considered. Then the best will be chosen. Because the city at the moment is not looking for local investors, but serious investors like they were talking of the wealth investors. That's why I was saying, together, we must take this to the world. That's what we should do, together now. If you want to do something small, maybe you should partner with those that are doing something great, so that you get those small ones and you come up with the big thing. So I think I'm very clear, and the question from Seattle, right, the plan is there. What is next? How do we access this there? Once the plan is there, we'll put an expression of interest, and the people are going to put proposals. What do I want to do in line with the ASCOT plan? That's what has to be done, and the people will have to compete so that they get this thing to happen. And also the livelihoods, I think, was coming, like I said earlier on, a city is a subsystem. There are certain areas of the city that are to cater for this. We don't expect to see industry in ASCOT. That's why we're reporting also some interventions that are coming because of uncontrolled development. Industry should be in the industrial areas, so that at least we've got those things. And we've got other industrial areas that were proposed, the county park industrial area, and also we are doing an industrial local plan, which also should cater for those things to happen. But ASCOT, let's focus on ASCOT. Let's focus on that investment. We are picking the ideas that have come. Let's go up. Let's get the value out of this debt. I repeat, today we are planning. We are not yet putting the shovel and the pig there at ASCOT. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sizima. We had some.
Maybe the student there bemoaned the lack of student accommodation facilities. Like it has come out from this meeting that planning is continuous, and strategies to provide the various type of infrastructure is also continuous. I just wanted to highlight that over and above what is contained in this plan for student accommodation, we already have the nasty site, which was really donated by council, having that foresight. But within the nasty site, we have an area in the nasty master plan. We also have an area designated for student accommodation. So in terms of the reservations to accommodate student requirements, the master plan for NAST has an area is just the economic environment, maybe that is not supporting the building of that infrastructure. But in terms of planning, looking ahead, that is well catered for. Maybe we are hoping that we are not planning a white elephant. Normally, a white elephant is what you build without taking into consideration all the fundamentals and the risk. But what we're doing now is the planning part of it, and this we're doing together so that we avoid these white elephants that we're fearing. So the purpose of this meeting is so that we get all our inputs as the city so that we avoid pitfalls and walk in one direction. But what also we are trying to do here is to be predictable, like the presenter indicated, that when we've got land, we have to be predictable or as a city to indicate the planning direction that we envisage, so that we avoid the disorder, so that we avoid the opportunism, so that we avoid the land baronism that is very prevalent. So when we've got a clear direction and a clear focus of where we want to go as a community, as a city, it becomes clear to all and sundry where we want to go as a city. And this is the vision that we're trying to create together in terms of the land that we have. And indeed, that is a very highly valuable land. Hence, the reason why we are taking everyone through this process, so that the final product is a product that is acceptable by the Bulawayo community. I think these are the comments that I wanted to make. And all other comments are being taken note of in terms of the intensity that we need to put in our planning to preserve the prime land value that we have. And this has been emphasized by Ubahusi that is our prime land, and the final plan should reflect this aspect.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Omalo. We are now taking questions from this side. I think there was a hand from Cloud Kuti and then also the gentleman behind him. Then we'll then go on to the gentleman in the front. Okay, all right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the hands that are coming from the back. 5 and then 6. We will start with Cloud. You still don't have a question?
Good day, everyone. My name is Arthur Jereje. From the first meeting which we had that side and to this meeting, I just want to give a very generous round of applause to the town planning team. I think you did quite a good job. What we need to be careful of is think the now. Looking at some of the developments that we've seen there, we might have the concern that we might be out of reach in terms of if we look at our personal capacities and the likes. But the main issue that we are forgetting, I actually had questions that now having some of the solutions to the questions that were being asked. We should focus much on the future. Is the intention of the presentation, rather than looking at now. How do we unlock investment? Real estate itself is a long-term investment. It doesn't look for people who need to make a quick buck. Because if you are doing a shopping mall, you can't expect a payback period of 2 years. You can't expect a payback period of 10 years. That's too short. So the type of investment that is being sought for by this local plan is a very, very long-term investment. Perhaps the pain point that is showing itself from the proposal perhaps is the issue of townhouses. The simple solution for those is to swap perhaps where you say you reserve to the space for office. That should be swapped for residential. Then those townhouses, as they were, should be reserved for office spaces. Because if you look at the nature of office spaces in the CBD themselves, they've got a lot of vacancies. Perhaps the style of office high-rise buildings is a thing of the past. And now we have the rise of office parks, office buildings, sort of like preferring privacy and the peace. Thus we have the moving of companies into suburbs running away from the CBD. So perhaps if we take that place that's zoned for residential, it's sort of those beautiful bluish townhouses that we were seeing there, they could work very nicely for office buildings. And the space that was being purposed for office spaces, I don't think it will attract anyone in terms of taking as office spaces. So the other issue that I was hearing is people saying, let's remove the residential use from the local plan. A perfect example of how bad that ends up working out is the Gulumai 12 shopping complex. Old Mutual did that mall in '97. It was alone in the bush there. And the concern or what has been happening, because it was far removed from the residential places, is that it fails to bring a return, or it fails to keep commercial businesses alive. So it becomes less viable. So what Old Mutual has done, you see that those residential developments that have started to happen, the purpose for those residential developments were to boost the shopping mall. Because if TM goes and rents there, no one is coming to buy because people are not staying close to the mall. So Old Mutual has actually opened up that area for residential to boost the performance of the mall. If we remove residential from there, there is no support for that mall there at the end of the day. So we really need to consider issues at a very, very, very large scale, bigger than our own capacities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The gentleman in front of you.
Salve, reason was project. I think so. Then I'd like to be internal processes. Local authority there actually interlinked. This was I asked a question what in Mozambique platform. What from the presentation that was given, there was a mention of voting a local plan to 65% complete. I was voting which one it was just a figure, 65%. What does it mean exactly? Then I think with previous speakers in terms of I'm a housing proposal that I actually plan for them. In fact, what is planned, it actually promotes another balance, because the very same people who are owning our towns, who are putting our towns, there's a very high chance of the people who are creative that they are elect. So it also goes back to what we're going to say in terms of splitting vertical, and also tying also to one of the speakers, or some of these buildings can be multi-purpose in terms of structure it in a way which in other countries you find which is residential is upstairs, moving downstairs, office, moving to office spaces, and the modern world, this convenience is very important for them. I want to carry some stuff out there, which is what you have distance and I'm a cheaper. I rather get each and every service from that very same complex. So maybe we might also be thinking along those lines. Yeah, and then also, which are these engagements cosmetic in adjustments, and then the adjustments will also be presented to us in a platform like this could be so try to look as a team, so public. So these genuine consultations and the cosmetic.
Thank you. I think our next question was from the gentleman at the front, then also the next gentleman, the lady, and then someone at the back.
Mine is not really a question, it's just a proposal. I have to go back to the aspect of the police. You didn't address that, unfortunately. He spoke around the white elephant. I said the white elephant just because I wanted us to address the fundamental, the economic fundamentals. You know, when you want to develop a city, there should be either a local economy or the national economy and what promotes it. I think maybe at our level, we don't have those answers. And my proposal is that they bring the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development or representation or any other policy coordinators, because then it would help us. We have to hear a social contract, which is binding. We don't want a local authority coming up with good ideas, but at the end of the day, they cannot be implementable just because the national development goals, maybe they are not even being implemented. We have spaces, I'm talking about these buildings which are in town. Most of them are not occupied. You want to ask what is the reason behind this building not being occupied. Obviously, it's the state of our economy. If we really address that, that's why I'm proposing that maybe as a way forward, we could look at this approach holistically. We want the national government to also be around so that when we ask these important questions, we are assured that there is a social contract aspect. That's my conclusion.
Okay, thank you. The gentleman was at the, I think it was next to you. You're asking.
Okay. I would like to ask a supplement. But let's not listen supplement to the question. But from my understanding, we've got the director of town planning, Mr. Sisi. The gentleman next to you is the director of housing. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's correct, but now standing in for the town clerk who has just left.
Okay, no problem. Because I would like to bring something to your attention which involves both of your offices. And I think we must ask ourselves the question as Bulawayo is who is fully involved. We talk about 40% of we talk about densification all the time, floods and whatever. Here we are talking about this place which is 2 kilometers from the CBD, and we are having to go back and forth about housing coming in somewhere somehow. I think the problem is much bigger, and the problem might also fall on your own doorsteps as the two directors of town planning and housing. When was Emmanuel Flats built? Do you have an idea?
After 94.
After 1994. The same as from Popoma to Voyage. Right. Now, these, if we were to open to your vehicle now and say, go and show us flats, that's what you would show us. But they are more than 40 years old. Now, the issue is housing keeps coming back into the conversation because
You have been passing out land for development and not forcing development of buildings that speak to intensification that you always preach about. I'll give you an example. Parklands that we developed, there are double-story buildings there, which house maybe families with just 2 children. That money could have been used if those people had been available with land strictly for flats, they would be there. But there is no flats, there is no any development that speaks to intensification for us to go and show each other right now, which has been the brainchild of the 2 offices. So I think also in developing this plan, you must also look at yourselves and the offices that you occupy, and also think of the failures that happened in the previous 3-4 places that we've seen. Parklands, right now we're passing out now, Chula East. How many percent of it have you zoned strictly for flats? Because I want us to listen that I see the story. And you will fail to pump water in those houses because the whole of Fulawa is flat. So also, a supplementary question is going to say, in as much as we are planning in ASCOT, also put into consideration with our current places that you have parceled out to developers to sell. Can you revisit them and enforce strictly building going up? Because it sounds like you are preaching all the time and we don't see any intensification on the ground. If I say today, as the director, going to show me flats, you are telling me about something that was built in 1994. 1994 was 31 years ago. Where are the flats? And our offices, and you are forced, you must enforce. Otherwise, if I and say, you gave me for flats, same thing, I must give up that land. We would want to see that happening. That was my supplementary point.
Okay, thank you. The next question is the lady here. No, I think they said they are both asking the same question. All right, we just want to take the last 2 so that we close. And then we move on to the next phase. The lady here. Then we'll have the gentleman at the end.
Thank you. My name is Priscilla. My question is more centered on the recreational and sporting aspect of the plan. Currently, takes into the existing football pitch is currently there and not probably expanding it. So my question is,
you can go ahead, ma'am.
Given the growing interest in the various sporting disciplines beyond football, including motorsports, netball, and athletics, I would like to understand if the developmental plan takes into account evolving sports landscapes in Blackwater.
Okay, thank you. The last question is at the back. I think I will take the first response, which was the question on whether the consultation process is cosmetic and what will be going on next. Mr. Stolim, I request that you put in the next steps so that we speak to those. Okay, these were the next steps, Mr. Kuti, which we highlighted, and also for the members of the public. We will not be having another consultative meeting, but from these contributions, we are going into a public exhibition where the document will be available for members of the public to go through the proposals. We are also available for additional feedback sections, and then during that will be August to September 2025. Then October 2025 is now the plan refinement, also taking into some contributions that you may think of outside this meeting, and then the council approval in November, and then the gazetting in November to December 2025. So the contributions that are coming through are not cosmetic, but we are taking everything into consideration. Then this town planning director now acting town clerk to respond to the other questions.
Thank you. Maybe I'll take the one Good observation, and thank you for that. But the nice thing about such a meeting is that we have other contributions that we have received. The contribution about material. If we listened and heard what Ubaba Matibela was saying, Ubaba Matibela is saying, while you are planning, have you involved the government in terms of economic fundamentals? Because they will then give us an economic focus on how the country is performing and how the country is forging ahead from a socio-economic development perspective. What Ubaba Matibela was saying is that, yes, we are planning, but the timing may not be conducive because of the current economic challenges that we are facing. And these observations are correct and they are true. When we talk of plan implementation, that is something else. Because plan implementation is tied also with the right economic fundamentals. And the challenge is that we are all aware that we may not be having the right economic fundamentals to sustain the plan. But we don't stop planning like we've indicated. We plan for the future. We remain ready so that when the right situation arises, we can then proceed with the plan implementation, but following the alienation guidelines that are provided by the relevant statutes. So this is the situation. There is a difference between planning and the implementation, because implementation takes a lot of factors that ensure successful implementation of the plan at the right time. So admittedly, Baba Nyasika, yes, we have not been able to expedite construction of flats following what was done in Iminyela. And you will know that Iminyela flats were done through the intervention of the government. Ubaba Msika was very involved and vocal to an extent that funding was secured to put those flats. And by then, we had various financial instruments that enabled us to put those flats. And those instruments are not functional at the present moment. So, coming back to our planning, our job as a city council is to ensure that we ensure proper planning and ensure that we have flat sites in compliance with the guidance statutes. And to that end, he mentioned about the 40% reservations in our layout. Indeed, we have got a number of flat sites in the city, and we have a vision that we maximize all the land that we have by ensuring that we will build upward. We have previously attempted to tender out the sites in terms of our land alienation policies, and unfortunately, the responses have been poor. So we have got the plans, we have got the strategy. Then it comes back to what Ubaba Matibela was saying, which is the economy supporting our plans. But for those that are interested in flat sites, we do have flat sites as a city. If you generate the interest, we will also see what instruments we can put to put the land or tender. Because the land is there, what is required is investment in those lands.
Just to interject, sorry. About the flats, I think I've had a conversational meeting with Mr. Sister before. All land is tendered out according to our understanding.
Yes.
Now, there is a disconnect because I've even expressed my displeasure with this, and I think it's going. This problem is going to talk us also with this kind of people, unless it's something changes. We walk into offices, ask for flat sites, and we are told, go and wait. Council will sit down, think about it, identify, and advertise. They are never advertised for tender. He knows that I've been to his office to ask for a place to build flats. But this is not about me. It's about the fact that I go around the city. Let's not forget we've got gold around the land. And I think we should never make a mistake of underestimating ourselves and the people in this city that they don't have money. Go around parklands and see the double-story buildings that have been built. People are putting terraces on top of double stories. You know very well that imagine that goes into building mansions like those that are at Phoenix. One mansion at Phoenix can build 40 flats, low-cost flats. That can be afforded by students and young people that we're talking about. So instead of focusing on plush houses, that's why my very first point was, let's be realistic. We've got a housing shortage in Malawi, and it's not by accident. It's because of ineptitude, it is because of lack of forward planning, it is because of the disconnect that we have between solving our problems and moving forward. So my plea is that as you go and sit down, try and see, because you are answering me, but it's part of your answer. It's created some more questions for me to say, when you say land is available, how is it available? What is the procedure in accessing it? And then my question, which you did not answer, was what are the mechanisms that are in place to make sure that the developers you are giving public land, you force them to take 2%, 3%, 10%, 20% of it into flats? Because Malawi has got money, people have got money. We've got a lot of gold money around. We see mansions, we see people spending. Do you know, I spoke to a friend personally who bought a $200,000 vehicle. And I said to him, but $200,000 is a lot of money for a car. What in here can go below? So I'll tell you this, people have got money, but city council is not, in the direction of channeling or even taking into the local investment. We are not asking to do things that are special. We are just saying let's alleviate the housing shortage by being, let's not have double standards. Let's have compulsory. 10 acres, a parkland is for housing. What's that? 40% is strict land for flats. Because I think it's a tragedy for us to say right now, the low-cost housing in our flats, in spite of all the preaching that we have seen, was last built in 1995.
Thank you very much, Yaziga. I think we are thinking all what you are saying now, and you are forcing me to say all particularly each other as we move. Because planning is a process, and the life is a process, and also you are forcing me to say, if you were to say, take me to where there are some desperation, there are some flats or high buildings, not even very high, I would also ask and say, yes, I will take you to your way you are living yourself. I'm not advertising for you, but when he says, take me, I will take you to where you live. So that it is, I think maybe you wanted to say things along those lines. And what we're going to do, we'll advertise for the place. We've advertised before. And the council will put a policy, an aggressive policy, to repossess those that have not developed all resources. And the websites that are there now will advertise them, watch this space. Then you come in as well and develop if you want to do so. Yes. Because this is not my liking or anything that I have to say. Maybe our concept is in terms of the Zimbabwe national security policy that we need to 40%. And that's it. And we stick to that. So we have to see those things coming. So, like my colleague said, we have advertised non-takers, and those that have taken, they just keep them. I don't know for when, but we process. But when we advertise, please respond so that we build the flower that we want. Then there was a person, not a person, to say, thank you very much for the visionary guy that was saying, let's not think for now, and let's not measure what development will become in our personal capacities. That's why we are here. Let's think about the future. And let's think about those capacities that are not there, that we are not seeing now. They might be hiding somewhere. But once we expose that, they will come. And also, I want also, this is very critical. Council planning is to create a learning environment. We are here to make sure that if material is not yet, CISO has got to be resources. These guys must be able to talk to each other. Land is not found in council, but here it is out there in space. Investors must be able to find each other. Because council also would have to go out like we advertised before and say we are buying land, please people come. Those that are selling land as part of the land. But there's no way we can buy land for $3 and sell it for $2. So when we are buying for $3, you can also buy for $3 because we won't sell it for $3. We'll sell it for more. So we are there to create a legal environment. So investors must not move forward to say we are waiting for land from council. All that we've planned now, planned Safa, planned Conference area, we've planned to again that doesn't belong to us, but belong to someone where we are creating value so that people can invest on each other. Then there was a question very interesting. Local plan 20, you're saying 65% control. I'm just repeating the question. Which we have now covered. Because at first we were at 0%. We want to go to 100%. Now we are at 65%. I think program director was saying that once we have to inception, report of study, written statement, exhibition, gazetting. We do those, allocate our percentages, so that at least we are able to measure our progress and able to predict when we are going to complete this plan. Hence we will in November, December. And we believe, assuming all other things are constant, we believe we should be able to deliver that plan. We should deliver it again. So that's where the percentages are. Then is this consultation genuine or window dressing? It's very genuine. You will see on public exhibition, some of these things that have been suggested here. Like I said earlier, that now only one person was running. Maybe 3 running, 5 running, 7 running, but all of us now we are running in the same direction. So on public exhibition, we should be able to see some of the issues that have been raised here. They will be reflected in our plan. That will help them. Then the evolving sports. That one is not in upper fields, but it's also evolving sports. We've got facilities now that you can play the sport now. The next hour you're playing another sport, the other hour another sport. So we're picking that. That is not upper field because it might not be very obtrusive. It might not be very compatible with that area. It might be obtrusive, the traffic, the noise, and so forth. It might not be good for that. But it's for those sports areas, and other things that we take on that. I thank you.
We have come to the end of our program, but
share them via different platforms as council and also to engage us as council staff. At this point, may I invite our chairperson for the Townlands and Planning Committee, Councillor Neta, to give us the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much.
We will discuss as we have our team.
Sanbona Dijani, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Jane Numbers, in abstention. Honorable Councillors of the City of Royal, here present. The Permanent Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mr. Pignoni, in abstention. The Acting Town Clerk and Heads of Council Departments, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. May I take this opportunity to appreciate everyone for coming through for the presentation of the local subject plan number 20. Your attendance and contributions are key in ensuring we develop a local plan that highlights the aspirations of the people of Noah. The city is consultative in nature, as we believe that the views of its residents and stakeholders should be showcased in the plans that we develop as a city. The former ASCOT-PRECINCT is a strategic area for the city, and we need to ensure that we develop it to be along the city's vision of a smart city. Thank you for your great contributions, and may we continue to work together towards a smart and transformative Bulawayo. And lastly, Bulawayo, let us dream together, let us plan together. Thank you very much. Siyabonga, tinotenda, twalumba, bayataki.